You tell me about it? Are you hungry? Yeah? Oh my. All right. Really? Really?
Mr. Curiosity.
He's like, wait, why'd you stop touching me?
Hey guys, welcome back to K&S Get Out. It's a little cold today.
A little bit cooler.
It's mostly just the wind. I think it's like 43-ish degrees.
Something like that.
45 Fahrenheit. It's supposed to be about 50, but that wind's moving through here and it just kind of keeps that cool factor up.
Yeah. Well, and we saw it coming in last night because the clouds were moving fast last night when we were out there.
We've had quite a bit of wind the last couple days after a few days of rain. So, you know, it's just fall weather and it's all over the place.
Yeah.
But finally, well, I'm 92, maybe 96% done with the patio well shed. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that today. It's happening. We gotta get the hay in there. We've got some rain in the forecast. It's Missouri. There's always rain in the forecast in the coming days or two. So we're
whether or not it shows up is a different story.
Yeah, and whether or not you can count on the forecast to be valid whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get the hay in there, get the feed in there, and start putting it to good use. But first, I'm gonna walk and talk about it just a little bit with you in case it's something that you think you might benefit from. And also a little update on Hurt and his
new necklace.
His new jewelry.
Yeah.
Yeah. The correction jewelry.
The correction jewelry.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy? Are you cool with that? He says absolutely.
Look at those drool.
He just got a big old drink.
You're so handsome.
He listens closely to every single word we say. What? I don't hear nothing.
You're a little drooly today, dude.
I'm always drooly. And beautiful.
It's true.
I'm a big guy. Let's just put it this way. He's not mad at me. He's never been mad at me. I don't think he fully knows the connection between the remote and the collar, but we're gonna get more into that too after we go take a look at the shed. Somebody plays favorites, and I don't know if it's me or if it's Herc, but either way, I'll take it. He's being so good and so cuddly.
How's it going, Spruce?
Good, how are you? What's up? Why are you wasting camera time over there with those goats?
Well, because they were being cute.
Well, look at this cuteness right here.
You are super cute.
I mean, come on. Who got these on their neck besides me? Nobody.
You're the only one. You're the special one.
Well, I'm very special.
You are very special. I will say that.
I would say it too, Mom. I'm humble.
You? Humble? I don't think you know what that word means.
Should be getting pretty close, huh, lady? Speaking of pretty close, I think we just passed, what, 2 weeks on their banding? And we can see the jewels are still down there.
Getting smaller, though. You cleaning up your job site?
Yeah, I didn't cover it each time before we had the roof completely done, so we picked up some leaves and twigs. And I never wear my hard hat for hardly anything out here. But I thought, you know, if I want to be in here, and we're going to talk about some pros and cons, I better put my hard hat on so I don't hit the roof and everything and injure myself. It's been done. You know, we went to that farm show with Chad and Ray in Tulsa, like the biggest one in Oklahoma. And of all the things that were there for purchase and to buy and see and tools and everything, you know what we came away with? Because Shannon picked it, a couple of brooms.
I want you guys all to know that yes, Kyle does know how to clean. Very well, in fact.
What? See, I showed my cards too early. Should have never showed you that I knew how.
That looks silly, Dad. I don't like it.
I can go head to head with the goats. You know what I'm saying? I could get down, I could headbutt with them. You want to headbutt with them? All right, guys, so this is what I want to say about the Patio Well 10 by 10 metal shed. This building right here. It might be just a little undersized for some of you, like myself. Okay, I've got to preface by saying, I think it's a fantastic shed. I think it's going to provide us so much more room for all of our hay and our straw and our containers of food and everything. Maybe these cool new brooms that Shannon got us. But I just got to start out with the installation. It was awful. It was terrible. Not big hand friendly. Not, you know, you really can't just go off the cuff. You've got to follow every bit of instructions. And if you miss a part or you flip something over a little bit, which I may have done on a couple of parts and I'll show you, to go back and fix that, you'd have to undo like so many screws, get caught up, and it's basically like starting all over. So this was my first time building a shed like this. Obviously, I built that shed up there. We used a lot of recycled materials. It's a stick frame. The door jamb is huge. The ceiling is high. But this one, you get what you get. And I threw a fit, but I got over it. Now that it's together, I'm excited. I will say, a million pieces. The instructions were pretty good. I did have to recruit some help from down the road. Our neighbor Stan was awesome to come and help, and without him, I would have pushed this thing down the hill. And I don't think that's necessarily a knock on Patio Well or the product. It has nothing to do with that. It's just not something I've done before. And I will say that I think when you order these, or if you get them at, you know, some of your big box stores, they have the option for a professional installation. Absolutely do it. I don't care what it costs, just do it, because you need a couple people and a lot of patience to do this. That's all I got to say about the installation. But I did build the subfloor up. I would recommend in almost any setting, if I didn't have this thing on this subfloor and pretty much level and screwed down, I couldn't imagine doing this just down on the ground. Could be done, especially if you have much more level land, but out here, nothing is level. This was a game changer, lifesaver. Plus, we had super high winds of late, and this thing didn't move because we've got it secured down. Got a little more we may do to kind of protect it from rain and all of that stuff, or any moisture coming underneath, but that's on me. That's not in the Patio Well instructions. The instructions were pretty good. I read through them, but there are a couple of parts that it's a little bit vague. And those couple of parts, one specifically, were these horizontal support rails. After you've got all this metal up, you've got to put this piece in, and it connects up there to the front support that you've already got in place. If you turn this over, literally over, which is what I did, then that one's going to be wrong too, because they're all for the same pieces. They don't designate which side they go. And there's a little rail that your screws are going to come down and connect into when you're putting on these pieces of sheet metal up here. If that rail is facing down, you'll have to do like what Stan and I did, which was drill a pilot hole for every single hole up there. So we basically had to modify this part and that part. And I'm not taking 100% of the blame on that. You know me in instructions. I enjoy reading them. It kind of gives you the insight as to what's coming, what to be ready for. But there were a couple of spots like that one, and I think one other piece right here, and some of the ridge cap. You know, I'm just having memories. I think it's just a little bit, it's all coming back. So the part where it really does require the two people is when you're trying to span this piece all the way across, because you basically put in the corners, all four corners, and then you've got to take these two pieces, put a plastic piece in the middle, and that was the first big obstacle I hit, and that was when I wanted to throw things and was not pleased with myself or whatever, and I called Stan. I was like, hey dude, I need a partner in crime. And so when he got here, man, it was so much better. We both still, you know, we growled about it a little bit throughout, but got to have two people. So what I would say is, if I were to do another one, let's say maybe 2 more, I could get it done so much faster. There's things you don't have to stop and learn. They do have the QR codes almost every step of the way. So you can stop, get your phone out, take a picture of that QR code. It loads a little video of these guys with like these funny hats on. It's weird, but they show you the installation. I've got to say I watched a couple of them, and I cannot say that they were any more informative than the paper instructions. Plus, you gotta have music going, or you may have to be recording or filming. So if my phone's over there, I'm not gonna stop and go get the phone. I just try to do it all by paper. Stan tried to light the instructions on fire and said, hey, we don't need those. We are 2 very different builders. He's been in that line of work, like just construction and mechanic work, a lot of mechanic work. So he's very good with his hands and doesn't really care for instructions. But they warn you at the end of the instructions, do not skip any steps, do not do anything in any different way than what we say in the instructions. And they mean that, because you'll pay for it later. So we've had to fabricate a couple of little things here and there, but I was very grateful, and we did it with a smile on our face, no matter what words were coming out of our mouths. It was good. Okay, there's your warning about the installation. If you can opt for the professional installation, do it. I guarantee you, you'll like yourself later more for it, and you'll probably like the building more. Moving on to the building itself, my only complaint, guys, and I've told you this on other things like the chicken runs or the bird runs, where is the XL version? Like, I would pay the additional, whatever the cost is, for another 12 to 18 inches of vertical rise. I don't know if it's, you know, they're taking the average human across the globe, because I don't think these things are sourced in America. And then they're like, yeah, well, it's 6'6" in the middle. Well, it's maybe 6'6" at the top of this beam, but down here, that's not 6'6". So we have another building where I'm going to be hunkered over most all the time, or Shannon gets to come and bring everything in here.
Thanks, I can do it.
So that's
so
okay.
You are what, 6'4"?
Yeah, with these boots on, everybody's 6'4", and then I got my little hat, and I'll be up there. And so, yeah, I can't quite stand. So it may be 6'6" at the center. I think my wingspan is about 6'6". Yeah, we're there. That's the professional way to measure that, you know. But over here, I couldn't even tell you. I don't know if that's. I knew that was going to happen. I don't think I can stand in here and show it. I will tell you though, it's a windy day today. Now it's sunny, so obviously you kind of feel some of the heat in here from the sun, but it blocks the wind. I do think we're gonna have to get the hose out and spray the top of it and keep an eye in here and see if there's any leaks and where we might need to kind of fill those holes. So that's something I think Stan and I are gonna do together. Shannon may come out and just try to find the water, and he's got some really good ideas for ways to seal it off, so that should be a good help. But our hope is to keep all of our stuff that needs to stay dry out here, in here, especially the hay, and we can stock up on a lot more of it as opposed to our little pallet snake house over there. So again, we did bolt this down, but I also kind of have a crazy idea, since we've already had to fabricate a couple of the pieces, you know, to customize them a little bit. I could build up a little frame wall from my subfloor to get that extra 12, 16, 18 inches, whatever we need. And then we would just have to figure out something. I'd have to cut out this frame right here, the floor frame, because I can't have that suspended up in the air where we're having to try to step in and over that. And then I could maybe just make longer doors. I don't know. For right now, we're going to use it the way it is. I'm going to see how well I can adapt to it, or just talk Shannon into being the one coming in and out here all the time.
I don't think you'll have to talk me into coming into an enclosed area.
Out of the cold?
Out of the cold.
But yeah, it's a pretty good looking building. So they do have the little spring loaded, which is, it's basically just a miniature version of the big one that I put on my big custom doors on my shed. So I'm very familiar with that style. Part of the fabrication still to be done is I'm gonna have to drill a hole in this rail up here, because we had to place it upside down to work with my horizontal supports back there. And so then I'll be able to pin both here and down here. But right now, it's just got a real common latch for closing. So you could lock this, but being the person who assembled this thing, I can tell you, I would not put highly valuable items in here. It would not take anything to take out just a few screws here and there, and you got a door on the side. No big deal. Or this right here, you know, that wouldn't take much. So if you need good security, don't count on this. But as far as good protection, get it out of the elements, as far as we know so far, very good.
So overall, what are your thoughts on it?
What are my thoughts? Okay, well, let's just think of it as installation. Be prepared. Test your patience. Take your time and get a friend. So as far as installation and setup, I don't love it, especially once you're a little more comfortable with like stick frame and stuff. I could have bought 2x4s. I could have, you know, built something that was more suitable to my height. But for convenience and not having to go and buy all the different parts and latches and then do your custom measurements for doors and things, convenience is like the top. It's very, very convenient. Size-wise, I really like the 10x10 size. That just gives you a lot of options. You know, technically you could get a riding mower in there. They do, like, the instructions start out and say, hey, build a wooden subfloor or pour some concrete. And so they kind of just push that on you. And that was when we decided to go ahead and go that route. And I'm really glad we did. I would say my final concerns with it will just be its water seal. I know, you know, you're just running some small screws through some plastic washers on every point that you're putting the sheet metal, both on the sides and on the top. And each one is only about that wide, you know, so you got a lot of places for seams, and you got a lot of places, especially if you don't use the holes they provide because you kind of had to shimmy it, you've now created a couple spots that it could leak. That could be on the installer. I'm not necessarily knocking the product for that. We could have done that. So very convenient. It's a good looking building, but I really think for our needs, and if you had similar needs, again, not keeping too valuable stuff in it, I think it'd be a really good option if you don't want to mess with custom framing or something along those lines. So we'll see how well it lasts over time. I think it's going to be great. You know, it's a pretty straightforward design, and I think it's going to hold our hay, straw, and feed just fine.
So does that mean it's time to load it up?
I think it's time to load it up.
Awesome.
Sweet, you gonna play with Herc's toy?
He's like, Herc, why do you like this thing so much? Can you make it squeak?
That's awesome.
Mom, it's safe to come out there?
Yeah, it's safe, buddy.
Well, I was picking on the littles and Herc came over to get on to me, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't in trouble.
Oh, is that what was happening?
Yeah, I was hiding from him because he likes to enforce the rules or something.
Well, he's down in Goatville right now, so you're okay.
He thinks he writes the rules, whatever.
You just ate. Like, you just ate. But that's just what you always want to do, isn't it? Just gets a wild hair to go down.
I think they just get hyper.
Yeah, when they play like that, like, that's not what we're looking to correct. We watch very specifically his demeanor. Does he go for their legs? When he goes for a leg, see, I think this is playful even on her part.
I do too, because she's kind of prancing around.
Yeah, well, we caught her and him this morning specifically playing. So at this point, you know, I don't think that's something to correct per se.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they're just playing and getting along. You have a friend that wanted to come see you.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Sprucers.
Where you got them animal crackers at? I mean, I love you.
Is that all I am to you as a food source?
Well, what do you want me to say to that? I mean, you do bring me my food, so...
All right.
But I love you.
I love you too.
And your food.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Now, where is it?
You know what? We're going to get you guys out here in just a few minutes, and you're going to get to go eat whatever you want, okay?
Okay. I'll take cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger? You can't have a cheeseburger. I shouldn't have said whatever you want.
Oh, okay. I'll take pizza.
Oh, my goodness. You're ridiculous.
You put food in this? Mom, this a food bowl? Nick nuts to the world. Mom, what this thing? This a food bowl? Man, I just want to put it on. Put food in it.
You want to see what you'll look like with a hard hat on, Spruce?
Probably not. I'm gonna have to cut holes in it for his horns. Do you want to wear it, Weege? No? I might have lost a third of my load back there. I don't usually have to carry that much hay at the same time, but yeah, our uneven terrain, that's less than ideal to be driving all that hay, and I felt like the tire was coming off the ground.
You did great.
Okay, do you want to assembly line it and I'll hand it to you, or is it better just to... So it's when we're doing things like this, and we're right outside the pen, but that's when we have the toughest time with Hercules. So he does have his collar on right now.
Yeah.
But he's doing really well. We'll give you a little update on that. You want me to go get the couple that I dropped back there?
Yeah, and then I'll grab the ones that are over here in the hay bin right now and start stacking them. Okay, well, I have to say, I think this is going to work pretty well.
Yeah, I usually will just take my truck to get the square bales. We are kind of looking into maybe round bale options in the future, but right now, this is what we have the quickest and easiest access to. So I was picking up, what, 4, maybe 5 bales and just throwing them in the bed of the truck. Now I can take the trailer, buy like a dozen bales of hay at a time. So now maybe I could take a trip way less often because they get tired of seeing me up there anyway. But yeah, this way we can stockpile this. We try to keep excess goat feed and obviously as much hay as we can on us so that we're not always having to run if we run out or whatever. But this way, man, we could put tons of it in here. And I did the 2x6 floor joists, so weight really won't be a problem. I mean,
perfect.
We can put however much straw, hay. Now we do want to be careful, and I may build up, you know, just a small, or grab some pallets or something to keep this off of the ground, the floor directly.
Oh, okay.
Because if it draws any moisture, you know, through the floor, I don't want the bottoms of these getting rotted or moldy or whatever.
Okay.
And that way you can just have a little bit of airflow through it. Now I also know you got to be careful. And really hot, you know, in the summertime, in fact, Stan was warning us about this, and I need to look it up a little bit more. But if your hay gets wet at all, and then you put it in here, you close the doors, cram it shut, it gets really, really hot, it can combust. So I'm going to make sure I learn the science of that to make sure that we know we're doing everything properly. And there's decent little, you know, you can see where air would come through down there. And you've got
vents.
These small vents, but boy, I tell you, like the summer like we had this past one where it's 110, 115 degree heat index day, it's going to be cooking in here.
Oh yeah.
So we want to keep an eye on that. All right, well I say we get us a little bit of our straw down here from our straw treasure and get our feed in here, get it out of my shed.
Yeah.
Get some floor space back in there.
Absolutely.
This is nice. And you've got the feed buckets over here.
Yeah, and we can rearrange those however we want.
Well, for me, selfishly, the sweet spot in here, like the most frequent place that I'll be coming to, I would like to be, you know, right here.
Okay. Well, let's just move the feed buckets back there and we can line the sides with the straw and the hay.
Okay. And then that way I can reach out to get that stuff and leave my head in the higher part. There you go. Problem solved. I'm not building this building up higher. So this is going to be a really good upgrade for us, especially going from that over there where the tarps were getting holy, so you had some wet spots, the snakes were in there. We'll probably still see mice get in here. They're just everywhere out here. But we'll use some of your fancy smelly things to put in here.
Yes.
See if I'll keep them away.
See if it works.
Very good. Well, I feel like
good
there
job,
was
babe.
so much build up to this thing. And now that it's here, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a little building.
But it's really nice and convenient to have.
It is. It is. And every time we can make an upgrade that makes it easier on us and we don't waste any of our materials, that's a huge win in my book.
Absolutely. So what I'm really excited about is that now we can get this whole area kind of cleaned up and it doesn't look as cluttered out here anymore on the outside of the shelter.
For sure.
So I've got all the feed buckets out of here. This is just an empty bucket, so we just need to put these pallets away and I'll move the trash can.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can decide what to do over here. I had even kind of considered converting this to like a turkey pen so that I got a place for, Christina really likes to be down here.
Yeah, she really does.
Around these guys, but obviously I couldn't have my meat birds in there. They would just drive Herc nuts all day. But yeah, we'll get that cleared out. Got all our straw and hay and everything in there.
Great job.
Not too bad of a deal, huh?
Yeah. Nice little chore day.
Yeah.
What's up, Hair Bear?
His little eyelashes. Your head ever gonna grow, dude? You're just gonna stay tiny. He's so sweet.
You are so sweet, Harry.
You've been in the hay a little bit, haven't you? Okay, slight change in plans. I know we said we're gonna get him out to graze, but it took us a little bit longer to get the shed loaded and everything, and I still gotta get the birds out because we were planning on waiting until we grazed everybody. However, I can see all them goats. Hi, buddy.
Somebody looks tired. Is it nap time?
You're so handsome. I can see all the goats are down there. They're grazing. They're at the very front of Goatville. So I think we're just gonna give you a little update on Herc's collar training, and then we'll just go see them, but we're gonna leave them in the Goatville for today.
That sounds good.
Since they're grazing so well.
Yeah.
He says, this is about my nap time. Could you
It is his nap time.
Could you get out of my pen? You don't mean that.
Those are sleepy eyes.
So we're only on day 3 with the electronic correction collar. And I think overall, the quick, short version is this guy's big and he's got a lot of skin around his neck, obviously. And because he's so used to how hard that electric fence hits, which is so much harder than this thing's capable of, day 1, like I could not get any corrections to take place at all. And it was so hard because he was chasing one of the littles and would get their leg or whatever. And of course I'm using the voice commands and everything. So as far as the tightness, one of you guys commented about this and said, hey, just FYI, you're gonna have to get that collar tighter than what you think you should. He wears his normal collar fairly loosely, like if he backs up, he can pop his head out of it. But this one, you've got to make contact with those prongs. And it actually comes with a couple of longer prongs, so if I need to go up, I can. But today, probably one of the most successful days so far, and he's had it on for the longest. I think we're coming up on probably almost an hour and a half or 2 at this point, maybe even longer. And he's shown no discomfort. You know, I keep checking it, making sure, but the corrections, they don't stop him in his tracks like I thought it was going to. I kind of really anticipated similar to what the fence does, but even in the training, it says if you've got it so high that they yelp every time you hit them, that might be just a little bit too high. With him, you got to turn it all the way up just to get a reaction. He looks down at his foot because my assumption is the electricity is going through his body, and he's just like, hey, what was that? But then he comes off it. I've given the command, and then once he comes off it, I give the praise command. So it's not nearly like what most people perceive these things to be, especially for a large breed like him. But so far, man, I think we're seeing progress. You can see him now as he starts to approach the littles to maybe get a little hyper, maybe grab a leg or something. You see him think about it. And maybe that's just us because we know him so well and we watch him 24/7. But I can tell now the wheels are turning. Like, hey, if I do this, there may be a negative reaction, and he'll come off it. And it takes time, and obviously monitoring, got to see how he's doing. So so far very pleased with it. I'm not as heartbroken as I thought I was going to be to go through it. So got a lot of great support from you guys, and we really appreciate that. A lot of you trust our judgment because you see how we are with our animals and the time and the love that we spend with them. So all on the up and up there, and look at the gentle giant. All the goats are down there grazing, and this is where he perches and keeps an eye over them. And if they start snorting and hooting and running up the hill, he'll meet them halfway and make sure they're okay. Unless he's having a good dream, then he may just stay up here. He's such a good boy.
He is such a good boy.
He's my tired boy.
He's very tired. I can see it in his eyes.
You need a nap, don't you, buddy? Well, guess what? We're done building the shed. Hopefully I shouldn't be down here riling you up too much working on that thing for hours on end.
You're just adorable, Herc.
He just wanted a hug. Look how dirty you are. Look at your filth. That's yours. Ew. Well, he's going to clean it for me at least.
He said sorry.
Love this guy. All right, guys. Well, the patio well, we'll let you know how it lasts over time. You'll see it in all of our videos. It's right there.
I forgot I had those in my pocket.
You just sent him on his way. He has to go assess. Is he eating or is he burying?
Oops.
He'll eat that one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the shed's done. The new hay storage, straw storage, feed storage is in place. We're very excited about that.
Yep.
Takes it up to the next level. Always a good feeling.
Absolutely. And we can get things cleaned up, picked up, and not looking quite so tacky anymore.
Oh, are you saying my solution was tacky?
That was a combination of our solution, but yes,
okay.
It was tacky.
Your half was definitely tacky.
Yeah.
Mine looked good. All right, well, we're gonna go join the goats for a little bit. Guys, we love and appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you so much for coming along on this journey with us. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. Did you come back for more?
You got more of those treats you had there, Mom?
You know what?
Let's check your pockets. Maybe you forgot. Oh my goodness, it worked. You have magical pockets.
I have magical pockets.
Let's see if there's another one. I'll be right back.